Hey friends, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to build another client server program where the client is going to read a file, send its file name and the file data to the server. Server is going to receive them and save that file and the data on the server side. So that's the simple program. So let's start with the code. So first of all, we're going to build our server. Import socket. So that's the only library which we need to import. Next is the IP address. And for that we are going to use our dynamic functions from the socket library to get that IP address dynamically so that we do not have to allocate it manually like this. If you are in a LAN, then I hope you understand this address, the IP address, the private range. So let's do it dynamically using some function socket dot get host by name. And now we will get the host name, socket dot get host name. Okay, now we have port. Let's set it to 4455. Okay, 4455. Let's define the main function, and we will write everything within this main function. If name is equals to main, and call main function. Okay, let's start with this server socket dot, okay, spelling mistake. So again socket dot socket, first socket dot the family af underscore net, that is IPv4. Then socket dot sock stream. This basically mean that it is, okay, stream. I just sometime I got confused with spelling. So sock stream basically mean we're going to use the TCP connection. TCP is basically a connection oriented protocol. It first establishes the connection, then start the data transfer. It's not like UDP where it is not connection oriented. It just send the data, does not inquiry whether it is received or not. It does not care about that. So we want to care about that, does whether there should be proper communication between the client and the server. Okay, so we have our server socket ready. Next we are going to bind it, server dot bind. So we're going to bind it to a specific IP address and port, and it take a tuple of IP address and port. So let's create that tuple. Now ADDR. Okay, now it's going to listen for the client. Now till this, it means that the server socket started, it binds to the specific IP and port. Now it's wait for the client to connect. It's listening for the client, whether client, when client is going to connect, some function is going to happen, which we have to write now. Before that, let's write some line. Starting, server is starting. Okay, now here again some information to display on the console. Okay, I forgot to use ports. Server is listening. Okay, now here we're going to create a while loop, an infinite while loop. It's only going to stop when we just explicitly want the program to stop. Otherwise it will run continuously. So it's not going to be a concurrent server where it can handle multiple clients at the same time. So this program is going to handle only one client at the same time. First client connect, its operation happen between the client and server, the client disconnect, then again the next client is going to start connecting, perform operation, it disconnects. So this goes on like that. Okay, let's accept connection from the client. We can say print new connection. A new client from this address. This address is basically tuple of IP and the port is connected. Okay, now something happens here. We receive data from the client. Now let's start with the client file. Let's copy something from here. Okay, let's copy it completely and we're going to remove what is not necessary. Okay, this is not necessary. Okay, we haven't copied this one. So you can also copy, you need not to write it again and again. So in the client does not bind like server, it directly connects. So it's client socket, and again same IPv4 family and the same protocol that the client is using. Client dot connect. Sorry. So again, it's going to take a tuple of the IP and the port number. Now it connects to the server here. So now the client is going to read a file. Okay, so first we're going to create a folder, let's say data, and within data there's some file like yt.txt. Let's write something here. Hello, this is idiot developer. You can follow com slash. Okay, so this is the information which is inside the file, and we want to transfer this entire file, or you can say directly the name of the file, information, everything, toward the server and save it on the server side. Okay, so first of all, you're going to read the file. File is the open the data slash yt.txt, and we're going to read it. Data is equals to file.read. Okay, now first of all, we are going to send the name of the file to the server so that it can save the data with the same name. Create a file with the same name and save data inside it. Client dot send yt.txt and encode it in a proper format. We'll specify another variable format. Format is equals to UTF-8. Okay, so we have sent it and also copy this format. So now the server need to receive the file name. File name should be like connection. So we're going to use this socket now, the client connection, using this, not the server socket, but this conn variable to receive and send the data to a specific client. So conn dot receive size, let's define it also, size. So how many bytes we want to receive? We want to receive 1024 1024 bytes. Okay, so a specific byte. Now we will decode it using the specific format. Okay, now let's print it, file name, and see if it worked successfully or not. Okay, now here we'll the message is displaying, server is starting and server is listening. Next we're going to run the client. Okay, so you can see new client is connected with this IP and the port. So this is the tuple, the IP and the port is connected, and it send us the name of the file yt.txt. So let's close this connection here and write the program. So we have received the file name. Print a message here. See, file name received. Okay, okay, let's create a file with this name. Open file name, we're going to write it. So you can also add some specific directory, but I just want to create new file here. Now we're going to send some information back to the client so that it can also know that the file name is received successfully. We'll say file name received and encoded format. Okay. So now client, on the client side we should receive something from the server, a message from the server. The client dot receive size. Again we require size variable 1024. Okay, size. Then okay, here then we're going to decode it, the format. Okay, now we can print this message from the server. We have received this msg. Okay, so till now let's check. Run the server. Okay, first we have to run the server. Okay, we have some. Okay, I got it. What the issue is within the server. Okay, should be here. So these are some silly mistake which happen while programming. So server is listening. Now let's connect the client. Okay, so on the server side we have in the message printed file name received, and we have sent the message back to the client, file name received, and there should also be a blank file created on the server side with the name yt.txt. So no information is inside it. Next we're going to send the information from the client to the server. Now let's close this programs. Okay, next the client file. Next the client is going to send the data of the file. This data kept within the data variable. Client dot send this time data dot encode using the format. Okay, now client server is going to receive it. Let's write the code for server also. Data is equal to connection dot receive size and decode format. Okay, now I'm going to print a message. I believe we would receive it successfully, so I'm going to write a message receive file data received. Okay, now let's write, if we have received it successfully, then we're going to write it in the text file. Okay, now its messages need to be sent back to the client that we have received this data. Okay, so connection dot send file. Okay, file data received, then encode in the proper format. Okay, now everything is done. Now what we do, we will close this file, and now we will to disconnect the client also. Let's close the connection to the client and also print a message. It's connected. This ADDR is connected. Okay, so that's the process. Let's see and write the code first for the client side, and then so the client has sent the data. It would receive a message from the server. Let's copy this again, and again here we're going to close this file because we are reading it, and disconnect the client. Okay, so let's run it on the server. Okay, server started and server is listening for the client. Let's connect a client. Okay, so client is connected. So you can see we have both the messages received from the server, and here we have some issue. Okay, it's printf. It should be print. Actually printf. Okay, in the server. Okay, printf is just a function in C language. So sometime I work with C language also. So sometime just make me confused. Okay, so server is starting, server is listening, and then let's connect the client. Okay, so this time no issue, nothing. So client receive both the message, that is file name is received and the file data is received by the server, and the client is also disconnected. So let's go from starting. The new client is connected, then the server receive the file name, server receive the file data. So server created a blank file with a name, with a specific file name, then it's write the data inside this blank file received from the client, then it disconnected from the client. So the new client can be connected. So we can see within this yt.txt file, so these are two files. This file is within this data directory, and this is the file received from the on the server side. So what we can also do, we can create another folder, that is server data. Okay, so what we want is this file should be inside this server data folder. Okay, let's delete it now. Okay, move to trash. Now let's do one thing, run the client again and see. So again same thing, again new connection, file name receive, file data receive and disconnected. So same simple procedure, and again you can see the file is file is received. Basically the data is received and some operation happens, and we're going to delete it. Now what we want is save all the data received from the client into this server data folder. Okay, so we can do this here just by adding this directory name server data slash, so automatically it would save here. Now we will stop the program, run it again. Okay, address is okay, that's my mistake, address is already, so we need to change port number here. Let's say 4456. So this happen when when you don't properly disconnect or just follow proper things. And see now, and the client, let's hope okay everything is good now. So you can see we have received the file within this server underscore data folder, and we have same information. You can see both the files have same information. So that's about this simple program where you're going to transfer file from the client to server. So you can use the concept of threading so that you can make sure that multiple clients can connect at the same time. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you enjoyed, then please share it with your friends so that they can also get some knowledge from it. And if you still have any query, any question, anything, then just comment below. So thank you, have a nice day.